Bueno, muchas gracias a todas las personas que se empiezan a unir a esta sesión informativa con the Pennsylvania State University Graduate School of Education en los Estados Unidos. Mucho gusto para todos. Mi nombre es Karen Martínez. Soy integrante del equipo de Consejería Académica y Relaciones Internacionales en Colfuturo y el propósito de esta sesión es brindarle a cada uno de ustedes información fundamental si sus planes de estudio están encaminados en llevar a cabo un posgrado en esta gran institución académica. En adición, me gustaría contarles que este mes de noviembre tenemos una gran variedad de webinars informativos para todos, así que si sus intereses están enfocados en realizar estudios de posgrado en este país, y pues aplicar algún convenio o algún descuento en el que puedan verse beneficiados, no se pueden perder este tipo de webinars y de sesiones informativas. Adicionalmente, estaremos haciendo otras sesiones en las que vamos a darles tips y consejos para que se preparen para nuestra próxima convocatoria, así que están todos invitadísimos a registrarse a cada uno de los espacios que tenemos dispuestos para ustedes. Bien, el día de hoy nos acompaña Jason Crank. Él es representante de esta institución académica y nos va a brindar información muy valiosa sobre temas como financiación, oferta académica, procesos de admisión y bueno, todas las recomendaciones que él desde su expertise y conocimiento les pueda brindar. También vamos a abordar información relativa al convenio que tiene Colfuturo con esta universidad, que consta particularmente de una beca de mínimo $20,000 para beneficiarios de Colfuturo en los programas de maestría de la escuela. Entonces, ya con esto claro, los invito a dejar sus dudas e inquietudes en el cajón de Q&A y las vamos a dar solución a lo largo de la sesión. Así que sin más preámbulos, Jason, thank you so much for being here today. We are so happy to have you here with us. So you can go ahead and start your presentation.
Oh, that's great, Karen. And thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today, taking time out of your day to spend a little time learning about Penn GSE and our new exciting partnership with Cofuturo. My name is Jason Crunk. I direct the recruitment and financial aid for the school. So basically, that means I'm in charge of helping people come to Penn GSE and then also helping them afford Penn GSE. So welcome again and hello from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Today, I'm going to show you about our school and learn how you can use the Cofuturo program to help cover your costs in attending Penn GSE. So in learning about Cofuturo, it became clear that people attracted to it share many of the same attributes that attract people to our school, to Penn Graduate School of Education. Your experiences coming from Colombia would add a unique perspective to our community. And so we wanted to recognize this with a formal partnership with the Cofuturo program. This webinar today is because you believe in yourself and you believe in the power of education to change lives and society. This is our commitment and our passion as well. We encourage you to bring your whole self to the campus and to the classroom. You can see how in our mission statement, these are our guiding principles in really understanding that there is no greater force for good than a solid and sound education. And by coming to Penn GSE, you will have those skills to bring back to Columbia and really strengthen your communities. How do we do this and what do we do? Fundamentally, our school makes leaders in education. Our faculty are experts in everything from engineering to history to linguistics to mental health counseling and of course teaching. But they bring that expertise to bear on some facet of education. And so that's why we're the School of Education. A lot of times people think School of Education, you think teaching. And of course we have excellent teaching programs. But as you'll see going forward, we have over 23 different master's degrees all focused on different aspects of education, from curriculum development to mental health counseling to human development and education policy. We'll go through those in a little bit. But let's start talking just about where we are so you get a sense of context. We are located in the city of Philadelphia, okay? And we're one of the oldest universities in the United States. The University of Pennsylvania is a private Ivy League university located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The School of Education is one of 12 graduate colleges as part of the university. So at UPenn, there are 12 graduate colleges. Each school is separate, but still one part of the university in all. And we're all co-located together on one single main campus in the city of Philadelphia. Being an urban campus allows us to conduct research in diverse real-world settings, addressing unique challenges and opportunities of city schools. This urban environment provides access to a wide range of student populations, educational systems, and community resources. This helps our researchers develop practical solutions that can benefit both local and global urban education. And you can be part of that too by being a student here at GSE. Philadelphia, or Philly as we call it, is the 6th largest city in the United States by population. We are located on the East Coast, about a 2-hour drive south of New York City and about 3 hours north of Washington, D.C. We are close to the Atlantic Ocean, about an hour's drive away, and we have all 4 seasons, so it is hot in the summer and it is cold in the winter. The University of Pennsylvania is located in the city. It's a historic city. Philadelphia is a historic city. It's where the US Constitution was signed, and it was the first capital of the United States. This urban setting and this historic setting really enriches your experience as a student at our school. I always say that we are both in the city of Philadelphia and we're of the city of Philadelphia. And I love this map because it shows every neighborhood. Each of these little areas is a neighborhood in the city. This is a map of the city of Philadelphia, and each of these little sections is a neighborhood. The darker the pink, the more direct the involvement. And so Penn GSE, as you can see, has direct involvement in every single neighborhood in the city of Philadelphia. Engaging with our local community helps us build strong, meaningful connections that enrich the learning experience and reflect real-world challenges. This collaboration is essential for a school of education, as it provides students with opportunities for hands-on learning, it fosters civic responsibility, and ensures that educational practices are responsive to the needs of the community. These are the hands-on skills, the soft skills that you'll learn coming to our school. Our research is led by over 40 full-time faculty members and more than 20 professional faculty members. When we say full-time faculty or standing faculty, what we mean are academic experts in their fields, and they lead innovative research in education. Professional faculty are, as the name suggests, experienced professionals. They might be practicing psychologists or district school superintendents, most of whom hold advanced degrees. This combination of theoretical and practical expertise ensures that you graduate from Penn with both the confidence and the competence to excel in your chosen field. Again, we want to marry theory and practice so that you come out understanding exactly how to do what you want to do. Overall, we have 23 master's degrees and 16 doctoral programs. We cover a wide range of education disciplines, and I'm going to speak to each of these in a sense of the overall layout of the school itself. You can see from these data that our school is very as important as our racial or ethnic diversity and our international diversity is the diversity of thought that this engenders. Okay, so these data are from last year, but it's pretty standard. It doesn't fluctuate too much year to year. But in any given year, this is the student body. This is who you can expect to see at Penn GSE. And so I mentioned diversity of thought. Okay, and something important to understand is that we have students coming from well over 100 different academic disciplines as undergrads. It really doesn't matter what you studied as an undergrad. There's almost certainly a program for you at GSE if you're interested in education. With over 100 undergraduate majors represented in a typical master's cohort, you'll be learning from people from all different academic disciplines as you unpack some of the most pressing issues in education today. We approach education through many lenses by recognizing that diverse perspectives, learning styles, and experiences enrich the learning process, fostering a more inclusive and adaptable environment for all students. We build practical experiences into every program to ensure that you have the hard skills, the concrete skills to succeed in your, and just like our faculty come from different backgrounds, as I said, we have students coming to our school. They may have studied computer science or engineering or gender studies or history or English or literature, all different backgrounds, but they all have a passion for solving questions and issues in education. Okay, so let's get to what you came for. I hope that little snippet gave you some context about our school, give you a little bit of information about it. Now let's talk about the partnership itself. We are just thrilled to be formal partners now with the Co-Futuro program. We think it offers a tremendous opportunity for Colombian students to come to a world-ranked top school in education here at Penn GSC. And the mechanics of the partnership are fairly straightforward. There's, on our application for admission, there's a question as to whether you are using Co-Futuro, if you're a part of Co-Futuro. You simply check yes on that box, okay? You simply identify yourself as a member of Co-Futuro. And what that means is that Penn GSC will give you an automatic $20,000 scholarship, okay? And I want to stress that this is a minimum scholarship, okay? So simply by being admitted to our school and being a member of Co-Futuro, you're guaranteed a minimum scholarship of $20,000. And then the Co-Futuro program offers a loan scholarship, which is a combination of both loan and scholarship. Colombian students would receive funding as a loan, but a significant portion, I believe up to 80%, can be forgiven if you return back to Colombia. So the Co-Futuro program will provide up to $50,000 in funding to come to Penn GSC. So together, that's up to $70,000 to study at Penn GSC. And a typical master's degree is going to cost about $80,000. So you're getting almost the entire amount covered through these two sources of funds. And again, the $20,000 scholarship is a minimum. So I'm going to talk about all of our scholarship opportunities, but this guarantees you at least $20,000 from Penn and $50,000 from Co-Futuro. Most of our programs are eligible, so you can be admitted into almost any of our degrees. I've listed the programs that are not eligible for this partnership here, okay? So no online programs. We have a few programs that are 100% online. Those are not eligible. Certification only, so if it does not produce a master's degree, that's not eligible. Of course, only full-time students, so no part-time students. And then students enrolled in specific programs listed here are not eligible. And that's mainly because these programs require you to be a US citizen. So that's not part of the partnership. And again, just for master's degrees. So our PhDs, if you are admitted into our PhD program, it's highly competitive. We admit maybe 1% to 2% of applicants every year into a PhD program, but those are fully funded. Okay, so that's different. I'm focusing on the master's programs because that's where this partnership is really centered. Okay, so let's talk about our master's degrees. Now, I'm not going to go through each and every program here, just because the information is on our website and there's a lot. Okay, we have 23 different programs, but what I want to highlight is how our master's degrees are organized into thematic topics. So, for example, in the learning, teaching, and literacy group, you can see that these programs are all somewhat aligned in that. The Learning Sciences and Technologies program, I would like to highlight. After speaking to a number of Colombian students, my understanding is that curriculum development is really important. And so our Learning Sciences and Technologies program provides you with the skills to incorporate emerging technologies into the classroom. Okay, so it teaches you how to use emerging technologies in the classroom, along with how does the learning space shape and inform teaching. It's a great program that gives a very solid mix of both quantitative and qualitative analysis, but it's very practical too. Learning Science and Technologies is a great program if you're interested in curriculum development and how that might inform pedagogy. The Literacy Studies program is a fantastic program that teaches you how learners acquire literacy skills. So you can become a reading specialist. That is someone who is a specialist in teaching people how to read. Maybe you work with disadvantaged children or adult learners too. There's no limit on this. Our students go out to really help serve the community in building literacy skills. The Teaching, Learning, and Leadership program, the TLL program, Teaching, Learning, and Leadership. This program is really centered on teaching you the organizational structures of primary and secondary education, what we would say kindergarten through 12th grade here in the US. It also teaches you how learners learn in non-traditional learning spaces. So for example, perhaps at museums or community centers, in religious institutions, or even prisons, okay? Any environment where learning takes place, this gives you those skills to navigate in a productive manner there. The Urban Teaching Apprenticeship Program, okay? This program, the Urban Teaching Apprenticeship Program, the key word here is apprenticeship, okay? This is one of the top programs in the country, if not the world, to make you a competent professional teacher. This is designed if you wish to be a teacher per se, someone in the classroom working with children. It's a 10-month master's degree, okay? But in those 10 months, you'll earn a master's, you'll earn licensure and certification, because international students can, beginning this year, earn licensure in the state of Pennsylvania in any of our disciplines. So this is a really exciting opportunity for people that want to be great teachers, okay? But the apprenticeship piece comes in because from day one, we're going to put you in a Philadelphia public school with a seasoned educator, with a seasoned mentor, who's going to help guide you through the process of becoming that teacher. So after 10 months, you'll have your master's, licensure and certification, and almost a year of teaching experience. I'm going to save the rest for the question and answers, okay? But I do encourage you to go to our website and look at the different types of programs that might be available to you. And of course, reach out with any questions that you might have. There's just a lot of, as you see, we cover a lot of topics in our programs, but those were a few that I wanted to highlight based on some feedback I had received earlier. Okay, let's go into the mechanics of how you apply for Penn GSE and how you might use other resources to help fund the programs. So our application is fairly standard compared to other schools in the United States. It's a fairly standard graduate school application. There is no application fee. I should point out that our application is completely free until March 1st. Okay, so there's no charge to apply. For our master's degrees, the majority of our master's degrees have a priority deadline of February 1st or 15th. I should have added that to the slide. It's 1st or the 15th. It just depends on the program, but the majority have a priority deadline by that date. And what that means specifically is that as long as we have all of your materials, as long as your application is complete, then we guarantee a review of your application for admission and also for scholarship. If it's received after that date, there may still be room in the class, but there may not be, okay? Because what happens is we try to seat as many students as possible based on that priority deadline. So after February 1st or 15th, we'll collect all the completed applications and admit as many people as we can from that pool of applicants. Sometimes the class or the program gets filled with that initial intake. Sometimes it doesn't. And if it doesn't, then we are able to, at that point, we're able to continue admitting on what we call a rolling basis, okay? But the application is fairly straightforward. We would need your transcripts from your undergraduate or master's program. So any bachelor's degree or master's degrees that you may have completed, we would need a copy of those transcripts. And we require an evaluated transcript, okay? So if you're not familiar with what that means, what this means is that you would contact your your home school, you would contact the institution where you got your bachelor's degree. You would ask them to send a copy of your official transcript over to a third-party evaluator, okay? And this evaluation service is going to translate your transcript. It's going to convert it to a 4.0 scale, and they are going to confirm that you have the equivalency of a US bachelor's degree, okay? So for us, it doesn't really matter how many years your bachelor's was. We know some people have 3-year degrees, 4-year degrees. What matters is that you have the equivalency of a US bachelor's degree. And this company is going to confirm that. And then that company is going to send your transcript directly to us. This is how we ensure that the transcript we're reviewing is authentically yours and that it's accurate, okay? So we have a partnership with a company called Spantran. Span discount on your transcript, but we will also accept transcripts from any member of NACES, this NACES, this acronym. This is an organization of official transcript evaluators. Okay, so any company that is affiliated with NACES is acceptable. Okay, I would encourage you to start this process sooner than later. It's important because oftentimes, especially for international students, this is where we see the largest delay. It's with the NACES evaluation, okay? So you want to start that sooner than later. The next piece is the letters of recommendation, okay? 2 or 3 letters of recommendation. If you are just coming out of undergraduate studies, then having academic references is going to be the most important. If you have been out of school for a while, then you can have professional references as well. The important thing is that these references are people who are in a position to comment on your academic ability and your overall character. Of course, your resume or your CV, whichever you think is more appropriate, that's fine. Just as it suggests, there's no special instructions for that. Just send us your resume or your CV. That will help us understand a little bit more about your professional background as well. Your statement of purpose or your admissions essay. This is the piece this is really the piece that you have the most control over. If you think about it, all the other components of the application are more or less in the past. They already happened. You can't change your transcript. You really can't change the other jobs you've had on your resume. But the statement of purpose gives you the opportunity to really build this into a narrative. I like to think of this as the narrative glue that holds your application together so that when we're reading the essay, we can see, we can see where you're going and how our programs can assist you get to where you're going, okay? This is the piece you have the most control over. So take some time. Think about who you are, where you're trying to do, and what kind of work you're trying to accomplish, and how our program can help you. And then if English is not your native language, then we would require the TOEFL or the IELTS as a English language proficiency test, okay? Now, if you graduated from a university where the only language of instruction, the single and only language of instruction was English, so for example, if you went to school in the United States or Canada or Great Britain or something like this, then we can waive that TOEFL or IELTS requirement. For the TOEFL or the IELTS, we're looking for a score of at least 100 on the TOEFL or a 7, okay? And then very importantly, the GRE. The GRE is not required for any master's or EDD degrees. It is required for some of our PhD degrees, okay? So, but if you're applying to a master's degree, the GRE is not required for anything. And this is it. This is what our application requires. A very important piece that I'll mention here, okay, is that when you go online to apply, you can submit the online portion of your application. Just go ahead and submit it, and then all these other components will be attached to it later. You do not have to wait for your letters of recommendation or your transcript or anything like that. Simply fill out the application and submit it. That's much better to do. That's the best thing to do, because once you submit your application, then you'll be able to log into your admissions portal and see the checklist of everything that we've received. Okay, so you'll be able to log in and just see, okay, they have my transcript, they have my letter of rec. Ooh, they're missing a letter of rec from this other person. Okay, and so then you can follow up as needed. But that's the best thing to do. Go online, pick a program, submit the application, and then we can attach the other components of that application later. Okay, so I already mentioned the Co-Futuro partnership, the $20,000 from us, the up to $50,000 from Co-Futuro. Let's just talk about general funding overall, okay, to see how you can maximize your funding to come to Penn GSE. So then let's just kick things off by talking about more scholarships, okay? At Penn GSE, we have a ton of scholarship opportunities. And the best part, most of them do not require any separate application. So every graduate school in the US handles scholarships differently. But at Penn GSE, it's really divided into two components, okay? We'll talk about that in a minute, okay? But the best part is that all of our scholarships are stackable, okay? And what I mean by that is you can receive, for example, the Co-Futuro scholarship, plus the Penn GSE Co-Futuro scholarship, plus perhaps some need-based financial aid, and we'll talk about that in a second. But what that means is that students can receive up to 100% funding for tuition fees. It's quite possible at our school because we allow you to stack those scholarships on top of each other up to the total cost of tuition and fees, okay? I would also encourage you to begin looking for external scholarships, okay? Outside scholarships. These are scholarships that do not come from the university. And so Co-Futuro actually is a type of outside scholarship, but you should continue looking at other places as well. Don't stop there. Most scholarships have deadlines in March. Typically, that's what I've seen, March or April. Some are a little bit earlier. So you want to start this process sooner than later. And you can confirm with Co-Futuro about their specific deadlines as well. I don't have those on the top of my head, but be sure you're paying attention to the deadlines for Co-Futuro and for any other outside scholarship organization that you're looking at. But the way it works at GSE is when you apply for admission, your application for admission serves as your application for GSE scholarships. And when you apply to the school, you'll be automatically considered for both merit scholarships and need-based scholarships. As a person, as a participant with Co-Futuro, of course, you'll get at least $20,000, but my team will also evaluate you for need-based aid. And so perhaps you get another $10,000 or $20,000 on top of that. And then with the scholarship from Co-Futuro, right there, you would have 100% funding. Okay, right then and there, that would cover it. So it's worth applying. It's worth applying by the priority deadline. Okay, it's worth applying by the priority deadline. We also have some special scholarships. Okay, the Power of Possibility, which covers 50% of tuition and fees. Again, every student is automatically considered for these scholarships when applying. But what's important, again, I'm going to keep saying this, is you should submit your application sooner than later. Let the other components be attached to it, but please go ahead and submit. And then also be sure to mark the box on the application that you're going to be using Co-Futuro. That way we can be sure that you get at least the $20,000 as part of our partnership. So we talked about scholarships, but I want to also point out opportunities for student employment. This often doesn't get as much attention, and I think it's important that you understand the opportunities that are available that you have as a student employee, because student employment offers a great opportunity to build your network, to gain hands-on experience, and to earn money for living expenses. Each program includes a strong experiential component, as I already mentioned, and that's tailored to the program's focus. So there's already an experiential component built into the program. So for example, if you're going into mental health counseling, well, you would be working in a clinic or a mental health facility as part of your experiential part of the curriculum. But what I'm talking about are opportunities outside of the actual curriculum itself, okay? And so many of our programs offer graduate assistantships. where you work directly for the program to which you were admitted. Participating in a graduate assistantship allows you to graduate with both a master's degree and a year or two of work experience that's directly related to your degree, and it will help move your career forward. We have a thorough matching process to ensure that your graduate assistantship assignment aligns with your interests. GSE will pay you $23 an hour, and typically this is for 5 or 10 hours per week. So it is a part-time job. It is not tuition remission. Every school does this a little bit differently. At GSE, this is a part-time job. It's cash to you. You earn a weekly paycheck based on the number of hours you've worked. And so this is not going to cover your tuition fees. It's not going to cover all of your rent, but it will certainly help offset a portion of those living expenses, your day-to-day type of expenses like food and phone bill, this type of thing, okay? It's a great opportunity. And the way this works is after you are admitted to the school, you simply raise your hand, you reach out to the program and you apply. You say, hey, I'd like to apply as a GA. And every program will manage this differently, okay? Graduate assistantships are for all of our full-time in-person. They're all full-time and in-person for those programs. The same programs that you would be eligible for in futuro. Okay, so the same programs that you're eligible for in futuro, they offer GA-ships, okay? And so it's a great opportunity to earn some money and really expand your network. And there's even more, okay? So we also, and I put this slide on here because a lot of times when people are considering a program, they sometimes forget to think about the living expenses, about where they're going. So this is another important consideration. Okay, considering your living expenses when choosing a graduate program is crucial because it directly impacts your overall financial ability to and your ability to focus on your programs. Okay, Philadelphia is generally considered one of the most affordable large cities in the United States, especially when compared to New York or Boston or Washington, D.C. By some measures, we're almost 80% less expensive than New York, for example. Okay. In terms of cities on the East Coast, it's very affordable and it offers a budget-friendly lifestyle without sacrificing the cultural, educational, and career opportunities found in a large city. It provides a balanced blend of urban amenities and affordable living, and it makes it an attractive option for students and young professionals. The Penn GSE, I should say the University of Penn overall, is 50% graduate students. So every other person you see on campus is a graduate student. There's a large community here that you'll have lots of opportunities to engage with folks. And what I mentioned here on the slide is that after you are admitted and after you accept your admission to Penn GSE, you could apply as a resident advisor, a GRA. And a GRA is a 15-hour-week position where you work as a liaison for undergraduates and the university. So every year, student housing hires a dozen or so GSE students, and these students help work with undergraduates. They provide light programming, counseling, kind of working to build a sense of community in the undergraduate dorms. And in exchange for this service, they cover your rent. Okay, so it's a way to earn free rent in the city. Not everybody can get a GRA. Okay, it is competitive, and it is, again, limited to people who have accepted their admission to Penn. But once you've accepted your admission, then you can apply as a GRA. You would want to start this. They start hiring GRAs in January and February, or excuse me, February and March. Sorry, February and March is when they start hiring GRAs for the next year. And those are to begin in the following fall semester. But again, just important to keep thinking. You can have, I should note, you could have a 5-hour week GA with the program. So for example, if you're admitted into one of our degree programs like the higher ed masters or any of these others, you could work 5 hours a week there and then do your 15 hours a week as a resident advisor. All students are limited to 20 hours of work per week. So that's the only cap on that. But other than that, these are all the opportunities you have at GSE. we are right on time. We have lots of time for questions. So this concludes my formal talk. I've provided that if you would like to go ahead and scan this code on your phone, this will bring you to a registration form where you can select a program of interest. And at that point, you will have the ability to be put directly in touch with that program that you're interested in. This will put you directly onto our mailing list, and this way you'll be kept abreast of all of the opportunities we have. I also want to mention that every Friday, including today, we have free information sessions for students around the world. We call them our Friday virtual chats. And this is an opportunity to interact with our office without a PowerPoint, with no formal presentation. It's just an opportunity for you to interact directly with our office. So with all of that, I will turn it back to Karen, I guess is the best thing to do. Hi, Karen. And we can.
Yeah, Jason, thank you so much for this excellent presentation and for all the information that you bring us today. Thank you.
Of course.
Well, we have some questions for you here in the Q&A. So, the first question is, the letter of recommendations could be from a work for job experience or is necessary from study?
Yeah, good question. Excellent question. And the way I would answer that, and really the way I'll answer, I'll expand my answer a little bit, okay? So the purpose of the application, you might ask yourself, why do we ask for letters of recommendation anyway? Why do we ask for an essay, test scores? Why go through all this trouble, okay? And the fundamental reason is the entire application, we are trying to answer two questions. We at admissions are basically just trying to answer two questions. Number one, will this person be academically successful? Okay, that's the first question. Is our program the right program for them? Okay, will our program take them where they want to go? Do their interests and goals align with the purpose of the program? So when we're thinking about a letter of recommendation, you want to think about what is the purpose of the program to which you're applying, okay? And the way you would figure that out is by, of course, reading about it online, but also asking people like me about it and reaching out to the school and figuring these things out. So for example, we have a program in education, culture, and society. Okay, this is a master's degree that is focused on sociology, right? It's grounded in the principles of sociology. It's a qualitative research degree. So the purpose of that program is to give you competency in qualitative research. So it's probably a good idea to have at least one academic reference, okay, for that particular program, okay? But we have other programs, such as our urban teaching program. The purpose of that program is to make you a teacher and to make you a really good teacher, okay? And so having a professional reference makes a lot of sense there, all right? Likewise, we read every application. I should let everyone know, every application is read at least 4 times by people like me. So it is hardly just one person. It's certainly no AI going through this and looking at it, okay? We read them, we try to understand where you're coming from. And look, we can see if you've been out of school for 10 years or something. We don't expect you to go back to college and try to find some faculty member who doesn't remember you or anything like that, okay? By all means, use your best judgment. If you've been out of school for a while, professional references are completely fine, okay? That makes total sense. We understand that. But look, if you're directly out of undergrad and you've never worked, then yeah, get those faculty references, okay? Because those are the types of things we're going to look at when reading the app. Hope that answered the question.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you so much, Jason. And also, Alfredo is asking, what is the score required for TOEFL and IELTS in the process of admission?
Yeah, good question. So the minimum score that we're looking for generally is a 100 on the TOEFL, and that's overall, and a 7 on the IELTS. Keep in mind, it's going to vary somewhat by program, okay? So if, for example, you are applying for a program in linguistics, then the average score is going to be a bit higher, right? If you're applying for a program in statistics, then a 100 is perfectly adequate. Okay.
Mhm.
So it really, again, just kind of depends on the purpose of the program and what they're trying to teach you. But that's generally where we're looking at.
Okay, perfect. Well, Danny is saying, hey, hi, thank you for the information. And well, it is required some specific GPA in order to be admitted.
Oh, yeah, right along with the test scores, right? So, and I'll answer it this way. So for the test scores, for the English language proficiency scores, we do have scores that we're looking for, right? And that's because all of our courses are conducted in English, and we want to ensure, remember that first question we say, will you be academically successful, right?
Mhm.
Well, that's where the test scores come in for English language proficiency. We have to make sure that you're proficient in English because every class is conducted in English. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. But the GPA is different, okay? We do not have any cutoff score for a GPA, okay?
Mhm.
And the reason for that is because we have students, like I said earlier, they come from all different kinds of backgrounds, okay? And when we're reading your transcript, and believe me, we read the transcript. We do not just look at the cumulative GPA, okay? We read the transcript and we can tell because, again, it's been evaluated, right? So it's all converted over to an American format. So when we're reading the transcript, we can tell who took really challenging courses and who took maybe some easier courses, right?
Okay. Yes.
And yeah, and so you could
Mhm.
see like, oh, somebody has a 4.0 or a perfect GPA, and they took all very easy courses versus someone has like a
Mhm.
3.1, but it was a really challenging, difficult curriculum. We understand that and we compensate for that. So there's no minimum score on the GPA. Okay. We really do take a careful look.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Well, Danny also asked, if I have a specialization here in Colombia, it could give me more chances to be selected?
If you have a specialization, is that
Yeah.
right? Yeah. It depends on the program, right? So it's helpful. Let me ask, which program are you most interested in,
Okay.
right? Uh, but yes, I would say generally having a specialization, of course, that's just one more thing on your application that
Mhm.
can show alignment with the program. Okay. I would
Mhm.
also say that it's certainly not necessary to have specializations. Okay. Uh, the purpose of our programs is to make you a specialist. So we don't expect that you come in with those skills. Okay.
Mhm.
I say this a lot for our statistics programs. We have a program called SMART. It's statistics, measurement, and research technology. For these programs, we do not expect that you have a strong background in statistics. Our goal is to teach you, okay? We have people coming in with English degrees and history degrees, sociology degrees. We're going to help train them and get them to that point. Same for our education policy degree. Our ed policy degree is highly quantitative, okay? But we spend the summer semester giving you those basic skills. That program is really cool because it starts in the summer with a 2-week intensive, okay, where you take 2 out of 10 classes. So 20% of your degree is finished in 2 weeks, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And it gives you this really strong background in data analysis so that you can go through the rest of the program and really do well in it. So that's how we structure it.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Well, how much time in total take the admission process?
Yeah. So there's going to be some variation, okay? But we always suggest uh, to give at least a month for the letters of recommendation, okay? Because remember, you're asking people to take time out of their day, and everybody's busy. Everybody's busy, and it's just like one more thing on their plate. So you want to give people a lot of time and opportunity to write those letters, and then for the evaluated transcript, you want to leave, we always say give it 2 months, okay? Because it can take a long time. It just depends on the school, okay? Sometimes it's very quick. We get it within 3 or 4 weeks. Other times, students are delayed and delayed and delayed, and that's, I say the letter of rec and the evaluated transcript are the two areas where students are usually the most delayed. But the way it works, we have that priority deadline. Like I said, it's usually February 1 or February 15th. Okay, just check on our website for the exact date for your program. right now, you could submit your application today. You could go ahead and submit that online application where it's just your name, where you're from, the basic questions, checking the box for futuro, all that good stuff, right? You could submit
Mhm.
that today. And then what happens is the other components will be attached to it as they come into our office, okay? After the priority deadline, so let's say February 1st, after that deadline, we're going to take all of the completed applications and we're going to start evaluating them, okay? And then you would get a decision 4 to 6 weeks after that priority deadline,
Mhm.
okay? So 4 to
Okay.
6 weeks after that priority deadline.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. Well, Kenny is writing with us, and he have 3 questions for us. So,
Okay.
the first one: what is the process to apply for a master or?
In physics. Well,
Yes.
I'll say so. I'll just say this: at school, at Penn, that is at the university. There's, like I said earlier, there's 12 graduate colleges. Okay,
Yep.
and they're all separate. So they are all completely separate. There is no standard admission policy for that. So a physics degree is going to be housed in a different college. That's in the College of Arts and Sciences. Okay, it's a different college, same university, different college within the university. Okay. So I would encourage you to reach out to their school. They have completely different processes, completely different policies. They may or may not have a relationship with Cofuturo. I don't know. It's all separate. So I really don't know the answer to that question because it's not housed in my school.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, the second one is it possible to get enough funding for a master through assistantship and without Colfuturo?
No, it's not. I can answer that very, not at our school. At some other college, perhaps not even at UPenn, but at some other university in the US, maybe. Assistantships here are part-time jobs. Okay, these are part-time jobs that are intended to give you concrete skills and to help offset your living expenses. Okay, Cofuturo is probably your best option in combination with the scholarships that we offer at our school. It is certainly possible to get 100% tuition and fees with a combination of Cofuturo and the scholarships we offer. It's not guaranteed, of course, but it's certainly possible, especially given our generous need-based aid that we offer to students.
Perfect. And the last question from Kenny is, if I have academic experience and non-academic work experience, what letter of recommendation should I submit?
Those programs are, so all of our programs are going to require either 2 or 3, okay?
Okay.
And some programs are going to be very specific with what they want. Okay, so you have to look at the application instructions carefully for your program. Some will tell you we want at least 1 academic or at least 2 academic or something like this. Others will say we want professional references. Okay, so we have a program in entrepreneurship, which is all about professional references. They don't really look at academic ones because the purpose of the program is to build a business, right? They don't care about it's not your academic reference. It's like, how do you work, right? And so if what I would say is follow the instructions of the program, and if there are no clear instructions, which is also the case, if they don't give you specific instructions, then again, use your best judgment, okay? If you've been out of school for a long time, it may not make sense to try to go back and find an academic reference that doesn't really know you that well. Now, in your case, if you have both, maybe submit a mix. That's totally fine. The main purpose is that whoever you're asking should be able to really speak about you in a genuine, sincere manner.
Okay, that's perfect. Well, Jason, we didn't have any more questions for you today. So thank you so much. This was a so productive session for all of us, and you solved all the questions that we had. So we look
Great.
forward to staying in touch with you to continue offering
Yes.
all this important information for us. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Karen. I really appreciate it too. And be sure to scan in so we can get your information and reach out to you again. Thank you so much. Everyone
Thank
have
you,
a wonderful
Jason.
weekend. Okay.
Bueno, a todos nuestros asistentes también muchas gracias por su participación y por sus preguntas. Los invitamos a conectarse en más de estos espacios y por favor escaneen el código QR que encuentran en pantalla para que se puedan comunicar con un asesor de esta institución académica. Muchas gracias para todos y feliz fin de semana. Thank you, Jason. Goodbye. Nice to see you.